city, guarded by men in dark suits carrying Thompsons under their coats. She stood at the tall iron gates, her village clothes drenched from the mist. A guard approached her, squinting. "Who you here for, Signora?" "I'm here to see my son," she replied evenly. The guard turned, spoke into his radio. "There's an old lady here, says she's the Don's mother." The static crackled. A woman's voice came back, sharp and annoyed. "Send her away." The gate swung open just enough for Valentina De Luca to step out. She was in a tight black dress, diamonds at her throat, and a sneer on her lips. "You again?" she hissed. "What are you doing here, you crazy old witch?" "I'm here to see my son," Nonna Rosa said firmly. Valentina laughed in her face. "Your son? You must be lost. Go back to whatever alley you crawled out of." Nonna's eyes narrowed. "You've got no manners, ragazza. I pity the man who marries you." Valentina stepped closer, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "Listen here, old country. Don't think your village tricks will work here. Stay away from this house, or you'll regret it." She turned and walked back toward the mansion, tossing over her shoulder, "Never come near my husband's place again." Nonna's hand trembled as she pulled out her phone and dialed. "Come home now. I'm at your gate, and I've never been so insulted in my life." Minutes later, the low rumble of a black Packard sedan rolled up. Don Alessandro Romano stepped out, his coat collar turned against the wind. When he saw his mother standing there in her soaked shawl, his face hardened. "Mama, what happened?" "I went to your club earlier today, dressed like this. I wanted to test the woman you're set to marry. She failed." "Failed?" Alessandro's voice was tight. "A young girl named Isabella. She works for you. She gave me her umbrella, took me to her place so I wouldn't be stranded in the rain. She fed me, treated me like I mattered. But Valentina? She threw me out into the street." Alessandro's jaw clenched. "Come inside, Mama. We'll talk later." Inside the Grand Romano mansion, Alessandro helped his mother settle in a lavish guest suite. Then he walked back into the marble foyer just as Valentina entered, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Honey," she said casually, "did you see some old woman at the gate earlier? Claimed to be your mother? I had security shoo her off. Can you believe the nerve?" Alessandro's eyes went cold. "That old woman is my mother." She froze. I didn't... You insulted her, threw her out like trash, and you lied about Isabella. You made me fire a good soldier because of your petty spite. Allie, please." "No." His voice was final. "Pack your things. We're done." Her face twisted. "You're a fool, Alessandro. A mama boy. You'll never find another woman like me." "God willing," he replied. The heavy front doors shut behind her. The house was quiet now that Valentina was gone. Alessandro sat in the leather armchair of his study, a glass of bourbon in his hand, the smell of cigar smoke curling in the air. His mother stepped in, still in her old country clothes but with that same sharp look in her eyes. "My son," Nonna Rosa said, "I hope you see now, Valentina was never the right Donna for you." Alessandro nodded slowly. "You were right, Mama. I was blinded by the idea of love. But love without respect is worth nothing. Any woman who spits on my mother will never wear my ring." She gave him a faint smile. Then her tone softened. "There's something you need to know. When I was with Isabella, I told her certain things about you. I described a small, crumbling apartment above the fish market. Told my son was a hard worker, brilliant, but broke." Alessandro arched his brow. "You made me sound like a dockhand living hand to mouth?" His mother smirked. "I needed to see if she'd still agree to meet you knowing you had nothing. She passed the first test. She didn't hesitate." Alessandro leaned forward, swirling the bourbon in his glass. "Maybe, but in our world, Mama, people can fake virtue for a short while. I want to know if she'll look at me the same way when she thinks I'm just another street soldier with empty pockets." Nonna Rosa tilted her head. "So what do you want to do?" "I'll disguise myself. No tailored suits, no mansion. I'll meet her on neutral ground. If she truly has the heart you say, she won't change when she thinks I'm nothing but a struggling nobody." She nodded approvingly. "That's wise, but she can't come here. One look at this place and she'll know the truth. I'll give you her number. Arrange the meeting somewhere low-key." Alessandro pulled a small notepad from the desk and Nonna read off the digits. He memorized them, then picked up the black phone and dialed. The line clicked. "Hello?" Her voice was warm but curious. "Good evening. Am I speaking with Isabella Marino?" "Yes. Who's this?" "My name's Alessandro. My mother gave you your number. She told me how kind you were to her, how you looked out for her." "Oh, she spoke a lot about you too. Said you were a hard-working man." "I try," Alessandro replied with a faint chuckle. "She also said you wanted to meet me first before any talk of marriage. I respect that. Can we meet tomorrow?" "Yes," Isabella said without hesitation. "Where?" Alessandro thought. He needed a place that fit the disguise. "There's a little park near the East River docks, not far from the fish market. Few benches, quiet. Would that work?" "That's fine. What time?" 2 in the afternoon. The sun won't be too hot." "All right, I'll be there." "I look forward to it," Alessandro said and ended the call. His mother, leaning in the doorway, smiled knowingly. She agreed without hesitation. "That's a good sign," but Alessandro's tone stayed measured. "Tomorrow will tell." The next day, Alessandro dressed in faded slacks, a plain shirt, and scuffed leather shoes. He left the gold cufflinks and silk ties in the closet, even swapped his gleaming Packard for a beat-up Ford, and tucked away his Rolex, carrying instead a cheap pocket watch. By 1:40 p.m. he was at the park by the river, sitting on a weathered bench under a crooked lamppost, the smell of sea salt and diesel drifting in from the docks. At exactly 2, Isabella arrived in a simple dress and flats, her hair neat, her eyes scanning until they landed on him. "You must be Alessandro," she said, taking a seat beside him. "And you must be Isabella," he replied with a warm smile. They sat in a comfortable pause, studying each other. Isabella was the first to break it. "I don't know why you share a name with my foolish ex-boss, the one who tossed me out over a lie." Alessandro fought back a laugh. "Your boss was named Alessandro too?" "Still is," she said, crossing her arms. "He fired me because his fiancée, the most arrogant woman I've ever met, threw an old woman into the street. Instead of hearing both sides, he believed her." "Sounds like a blind fool," Alessandro said evenly. "Letting someone else pull his strings?" "That's exactly what he is," Isabella muttered. "Anyway, enough about that. Tell me about yourself. Your mother told me plenty, but I'd rather hear it from you." "There's not much to say. I'm just a guy making ends meet. Day jobs, odd work at the docks, whatever keeps the lights on. It hasn't been easy, but I keep pushing." "I respect that," Isabella said. "Hard work's everything. Do you have dreams?" "Of course. One day I want my own place. Something lasting. Something that would make my mother proud." "That's why I agreed to meet you," Isabella said softly. "Any man who respects his mother is worth knowing." The morning after her meeting at the docks, Isabella was sitting in her small safe house above the tailor shop, sipping bitter espresso and thinking about Alessandro. There was something about him, something honest, easy to talk to, not like the bosses and soldiers she'd seen swagger through La Fortuna. Her thoughts were broken by the ring of her battered landline phone. She picked it up. "Isabella Marino?" "Yes, who's this?" "This is Santino, the consigliere for Don Romano. I'm calling on behalf of the boss." Her grip tightened on the receiver. "The Don?" "Yes, He's realized his mistake about you. He wants to make it right. You're being re-employed, but not as a runner, as his personal assistant." Isabella blinked. I don't know what to say." "Say you'll take it," Santino said with a faint chuckle. "This is the Don's personal request." She hesitated, then nodded to herself. "All right, I accept." "Good. Be at La Fortuna tomorrow morning." That night, she called Nonna Rosa. "Nonna, I have good news," she said, excitement in her voice. "My daughter, tell me." "They called me back, said the Don wants to correct his mistake. I'm now his personal assistant." Nonna clapped her hands. "You see, good things come to those with a good heart. I told you my son was good for you." "Nonna, Isabella," she groaned playfully. "Don't start matchmaking again." They both laughed. The next day, Isabella dressed in her best skirt and blouse,